banner down.
Hi, everybody. It's Mark Messier, and you're listening to Blueshirt
Underground Show,
the #1 Rangers podcast. Make sure you tune in to find out all the latest news. Let's go, Rangers.
Blueshirt Underground, motherfucker!
Can't BS a Ranger fan. Can't BS a Ranger fan.
This is an unlawful gathering. This is an unlawful gathering. The truth is out there. The truth is out there.
This is the underground. This is new media. This is the underground. This is new media.
Ranger fans, report to the critical thinking hangar. Ranger fans, report to the critical thinking hangar.
And now here is the starting lineup for the New York Rangers. And now here is the starting lineup for the New York Rangers.
This is New York Rangers hockey. 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 This is New York Rangers
And good afternoon, everybody. How are you today? The Blueshirt Underground Show with Jim and Eddie. My name is Jim. Today is Wednesday, January 22nd, the year 2020. 2020. My name is Jim, and as always, I am joined on the other side of this window by the one and only, the incomparable, the often imitated. If you don't believe me, just look on Twitter. There's 3,000 fucking Ranger podcasts out there, but never duplicated. Edward Fitzgerald. Guy Kenny, good evening. How are you, sir?
The wreck of the Edward Fitzgerald. That's basically what you got here.
The most depressing song of all time.
Yes, definitely.
And the bell chimed 29 times for the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Oh, the lake they call Gitchigami. Yeah, that's a bad one. I'm doing good.
The best part. I'm sorry. The best part of that song is when he says something like, "At 7 a.m. the main hatchway gave in, and the chef said, fellas, it's been good to know." Yeah, it's like when he basically tells the entire crew, "Put your ass between your legs and kiss your sweet ass goodbye." Or, your head between your legs. Sorry. All right. I apologize for breaking up your.
Oh, no problem. No, listen.
Intro.
Oh, no problem. Anytime a Gordon Lightfoot song is referenced in this broadcast,
Right.
we're
really
all the
keeps
better.
us hip.
Keeps us current.
Once again, proving our currentness.
Yes, it's good to be here. I'm glad to have all our friends here today. I see the chat room is packed full of Ranger faithful, the diehards, the underground, the people with the best opinions, the best taste, the best of the best. Let's just say it. Can I kiss up to the audience more? Yes, of course. They deserve it. They're here in, night out. Those sons of bitches. So
The most diehard of the most diehard.
That's correct, sir. So
The lunatic fringe.
The lunatic fringe of this fan base, but the good kind of lunatic.
Right. Are kind of crazy.
Are kind of crazy. So
most of them.
Yes. Well, yes, Jeff, I think there are more depressing songs than the Edmund Fitzgerald, but you know what? I think you take offense because Gordon Lightfoot's Canadian.
Right.
It's got the Canadian thing. Yeah.
Connor, just shut up.
Yeah, really.
Shut
bro.
up. Do I come into your group and heckle your live videos?
Yeah.
Or am I respectful? Actually, I don't watch his live videos. His live videos are always on at 11 o'clock in the morning. I know this
Jobs?
comes as people have jobs. I mean, he's broadcasting on Facebook at 11 o'clock in the morning.
He's got to fit in.
Why don't you put on a nightly show? We'll do a show at night, like outside the box. Talk to Brian Attard, see if there's 9 minutes in a weeknight where he's not got a show going.
Yeah. So hey, Jim, those Rangers. How about those Rangers?
The Rangers. Yes, since we last left you, the Rangers have lost 2 out of 3. The disappointing last-second loss or last-minute loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets, and then, of course, last night's disappointing but not completely unexpected loss to the New York Islanders.
Well,
but hey, we did have that thrilling victory at the Nassau Coliseum, or whatever it's called now. TCBY, is that what do they call that thing now? TCBY,
something health center, Rampart,
disease control,
Rampart. From emergency. Oh, that show, boy.
Yeah, it was. That show used to be on Channel 11 on Saturdays, right before Star Trek.
I love that show.
Rampart
really
and Daisy.
Yeah, it was
Randolph Montooth.
Yes, it was like Adam 12 with fire department people.
Right, basically. It was a good show.
And that was before. Yeah, that was like the first EMTs, but they weren't allowed to really do anything back then. They had to call in and talk to a doctor on what to do. Anyway, what we're talking about? Well, let's save this for the practice shows.
Well, it's just all circling back to the Nassau Coliseum, the Center for Disease Control.
STD disease control.
Dennis Crow, the LGBTQ Center. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. So it was. I don't know. I feel left unsatisfied. Almost like an episode of Emergency. I feel like it was good, but they could have had, You're
feeling unfulfilled, are you?
Yeah, I mean, the loss to Columbus, to me was just like, it was sleepy time. It was like, I felt like the whole game, the Rangers really never had any kind of a connection. They couldn't complete a pass. It just felt awkward. But they got the goal by Brady Shea, who somehow has, 6 or 7 goals now, which 7. I guess every Ranger defenseman can put the puck in the net practically. I think Lindgren probably, and Mark Stahl, of course. But Lindgren's young, and I think he will be able to put the puck in the net a little bit more.
Mark Stahl will get his preordained 3 goals.
Exactly. And you figure Shea scores, that could be a good omen or a bad omen. The good omen, it could be, if Shea scores, anybody could score. They're facing a goalie who's never played in the NHL before. His stats in the AHL are fairly suspect.
Not one of your better goaltenders, Jim.
I mean, he's got over 3 GA in the minors. So you figure, let's pepper this guy with shots, but the Rangers come out totally lackluster and kind of sleepwalk through the game. But they're winning 1-0. You think they could be able to hold on to the lead, but of course, Oliver Bjorkstrand, they can't stop this guy for nothing. He scores, ties the game up. I thought it was going to go to overtime, maybe get a point, whatever. Continue the positive vibes. Oliver Bjorkstrand scores. Now, I wanted to talk about that. You mentioned in the post-game show yesterday about the Twitterati, the twits out there in Twatterland were all over Ryan Strome. Now, listen, Ryan Strome made a ill-advised line change. Went to the bench in that game, and it turned an even man rush going back the other way to an odd man rush. And consequently, Oliver Bjorkstrand scored, and the Rangers were sent packing with under 2 minutes left in the game. So I want to ask you, was the blowback from when you were talking about Ryan Strome basically about that? Or was it more about he can't do anything without Panarin, or a combination of both? What was it?
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Ryan Strome, he had a rough night last night without Panarin. He did score. He did have that goal that was waved off. But he did have a rough night last night without Panarin. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of NHL players. If they lose their line mate, the guy they're most comfortable with, I think they're going to struggle. But it's funny. I don't know if this fan base, and when I say this fan base, I don't need to tell you that I don't mean the inner sanctum here. I don't think this fan base hates Ryan Strome, but they can't wait to pounce on Ryan Strome. They just wait. They just lie in the weeds, just waiting for Ryan Strome to make a mistake so they can pounce. And I see everything. Ryan Strome makes a bad change, takes a penalty, leads to goals. Does he get benched? No. Capo Caco makes a bad offensive penalty, and he gets benched. Why is that? This coaching staff hates the Europeans.
Oh.
Don't you think that a guy who's been in the league 6 years, if he makes a mistake, don't you think he gets a little more benefit of the doubt than a kid that's 18 and just got here? Isn't that how it's supposed to work a little bit?
A little bit, yes.
A little bit. I mean, I'm not saying this guy should just get amnesty, but and then everybody you want Strome benched. Who are you going to put in his place? Who's going to take his place? Brendan Smith? They don't like him either. They don't like Brendan Smith. They don't like Brett Howden. They don't like Ryan Strome. They don't like Lindy Ruff. They don't like Brady Shea. They don't like. I mean, some of them don't like Tony DeAngelo for reasons that are have nothing to do with hockey.
I think
half the fan base can't stand Pavel Buchnevich. Half the fan base loves him and thinks the coaching staff, the third coaching staff this guy's played for, no, I guess the second, it's just misunderstanding the great Pavel Buchnevich.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the camps are divided almost every player. So, but they can't wait to pounce on Ryan Strome. They just can't wait. That guy makes a mistake, and they are on him like flies on shit. I don't quite get it. He's done more positive than negative. I mean, yeah, are there better players out there? Yeah, but this guy even picked up an assist last night. I think he got an assist. I mean, I don't know. It just, like you said, other than the inner sanctum, I guess people want to argue about the baseless things. I mean, these are baseless. That trade is an absolute robbery. Anything they get from that trade is a boon.
Right.
So they just enjoy it. Why does everybody got to be they have to be the general manager? Well, I don't like it. I mean, every time Ryan Strome takes a shift for the Rangers, they just win this trade a little more. The gap in the win of this trade just gets a little bigger. I just anybody that helps the team win, I'm grateful. I like the guy. I don't like that. The guy's got what? The guy's helping the team. I don't care if it's Panarin, now, there is some truth to that, though, because if Panarin doesn't play, we talked about this in the post-game show. I don't know if you got the official stats on this. I didn't. But when he doesn't score and doesn't get on the score sheet, their record is terrible. Yeah, I didn't see the like I said, I just saw that one stat that I think it was Sean McCaff that posted it at some point. I don't know if it was on Twitter or Facebook. And I don't know if he was exaggerating, which Sean does occasionally do. Or if that was a real honest, or if that was a real honest to goodness stat that they were something in the neighborhood of 1-22 when Panarin isn't on the score sheet. I'm sure somebody, Cutter, why don't you make yourself useful and go look that up? Yeah. Add something to this program instead of detracting. Right. Instead of constantly, your constant, Michael Silver's saying 1-9-1. Michael Silver's 1-9-1. Thank you, Mike Silvers. Thank you, Mike Silvers.
Yes, I believe in Mike Silvers. It's his campaign slogan. Mike Silvers. I believe in Mike Silvers.
So it certainly it certainly makes a difference. He makes everybody better, but there are some players where it doesn't. And Reinstrom kills penalties. I don't know. I can't get into the minds of these idiots on the outside the inner sanctum of Blueshirt Underground show. I can't. I don't know what the grievances are, and is it because he takes away from the Euros? Is it because he's not brought up through our system? Is there some Islander residual hate because he was an ex-Islander? Is it, is he overachieving? Perhaps, but he's overachieving in a Ranger uniform. That's all I give a crap about.
Well, I think there's he's not 18. He's not Euro. He's not flashy. And Tony D'Angelo loves him.
Right. That's all you need to know. And I told you, I've been saying this for over a month. I like Reinstrom's attitude. He's not one of these like interviews where it's like just generic answers. He's
right.
Very passionate, and he will talk. He talks plainly, like Tony D. Now, I think the Tony D thing has settled down. I think his performances. Most people don't care about the political affiliation. I mean, again, it's Twitter, which is slants heavy left. So, but when it comes to sports, just leave it out of it. I mean, we've had this discussion 1,000 times, but it's just, right now he's playing at such a level. Who gives a shit? I mean, even the harshest critic of his politics got to be like, this kid's he's an emerging star. We got to get this guy signed. Who cares?
You'd be surprised.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go on. Let's go on to some more pertinent news.
All right.
We finally found out with Artemi Panarin was Hoyt for the last game against the Islanders last night, which they lost 4-2. We finally found out, Jim, it was an upper body injury.
Right. Which could be anything from a blister to pneumonia to
the mumps.
The mumps. Yeah. Migraine headache, inner ear infection, swimmer's ear, bloody nose.
And Artemi is going to be replaced. He's not going to be able to be in this All-Star game by a guy that we spent half this year, well, not half, about half of our broadcasts bashing, Chris Kreider, who's extremely hot right now. So
yep.
My question to you is, Jim, is he really injured? Or did the Rangers really just say, listen, we want to give you 10 days off. You sit. You won't go to the All-Star game. There'll be no fines because, you sat a regulation game, a regular game. So there'll be no, because I know Ovechkin sometimes doesn't show to these things or something. He gets fined. So to kind of avoid the fine. What do you think was going on there? Do you think that might be something into it, or?
I don't know. I hadn't really thought of that until you mentioned it. He just better be healthy when they come back from break next Friday night when I'm in the Garden. I don't want to see that ragtag bunch that played last night. That's for sure. I don't want to see Greg McKegg on the goddamn first line. I didn't shell out $220 for Rocks tickets to go see Greg McKegg on the first line.
I like Greg McKegg.
He's all right.
Yeah. He's got a little speed. I think he would be a good guy if they actually made a playoff run as a cog on the fourth line. But night in and night out, I don't know. I've warmed him. I don't think he's Michael Haley's completely useless. Michael Haley's completely useless.
Michael Haley in the comments, he can go. He could go anytime.
Yeah. I mean, you have Vinny Lettieri, who made the AHL All-Star team, I say. Give it up. I'll play the music for Vinny. You know how
Vinny
we like to.
Lettieri.
Your AHL All-Star.
see Costa, he's up and dancing in his. He's doing that.
All right.
Congratulations, Vincenzo, Dr. Vinny Boom Bots,
Let's hear it.
who is being held back by the great Brendan Smith,
Steve Fogarty.
Steve Fatso Fogarty, Greg McKegg, Michael Haley.
Well, I see that they sent down Shesterkin and
Vinny DiGiuseppe.
Yes, another eye tie that you.
Another eye tie we're keeping down.
Has he played at all, that guy?
Only in preseason, and I was not impressed.
Yeah, I remember.
I never understand, especially when your minor league team is an hour flight away, an hour commute away. Why do they call up a guy to not play? I mean, this guy was up for 3-4 games, never gets on the ice. What's the point of that?
They want him to practice with the big team.
Is that what it's all about?
I don't know what the psychology is, if there is any. But speaking of psychology,
oh boy,
are the Rangers? Now I'm going to tell you something here, boys and girls, and the people listening at home, and our combat troops overseas. That are the Rangers really going gangster on Henrik now? Are they really playing mind games? Do they really want him to say, I can't take it, I've got to play? I mean, are they playing mind games with this guy? Because I'm thinking about this 3-goalie thing day after day as it goes on, that Henrik doesn't deserve a start because Alexander Georgiev plays well against the Islanders. 2 games against the Islanders, Henrik does not get a start. The game in between the Islander games, Henrik doesn't get a start. Now, I think the Rangers are playing hardball with Henrik. I think so. The only other way explanation I can go is that what?
You think if this is a game of street football, the 2-hand touch, the Rangers are basically telling Hank to go long on every play?
Yeah. Has
not played since that loss to St. Louis on January 11th. I said to Jen last night, I have a feeling that he's going to play that first game back at the Garden against Detroit.
Oh boy, it's all about you.
No, what do you mean it's all about me? It's nothing to do with me. I
thought you were going with that's just your luck. You get to see Hank Lundqvist.
No, it wasn't even that. And honestly, I said to Jen, I said over the years since he's come to the Rangers, I think I've only been to one or maybe 2 games at the Garden, and I would always see them on the road, whether it was in Arizona or Florida. And every time they'd play, most of the time would be the backup. I've seen Valaquette and Talbot and Ranta, I know, played one of the games I was at. So if he played next week, it actually wouldn't bother me because it'd be one of the few rare times I actually got to see him. I mean, granted, it's like, it's kind of like, oh, I finally get to see Ali, but he's fighting Burbick, but whatever.
Fight Leon Spinks.
Right.
All right.
So I just have a feeling that after this 10-day break and him having not played since January 11th, since they're playing on back-to-back nights and since they've sent Shesterkin to Hartford, it just, to me, in my mind, it makes sense that he's going to play that first game back at the Garden. Then either Georgiev or Shesterkin will be back to play the Saturday night, the very next night they're in Detroit. So I think Hank will get the game at the Garden, then somebody else gets the game in Detroit, and then I don't know what they do after that. Because they still haven't figured this out. They're hoping it sorts itself out, and right now they're just kind of sitting Hank and they're kind of giving Hank the Eli treatment is basically what they're doing.
Okay. Well, I'm getting a lot of opinions in the chat room that I'm a little bit off base, that they'll never trade Hank. They wouldn't do that to Hank. Why? Why not? I mean, you've got a new GM in here, John Davidson. I know he's all Ranger, but president rather, who he doesn't owe anything to Hank. Is anybody, you think James Dolan is worried about the legacy of Hank and what they do with them and all that stuff? He doesn't care. So really, it's in Gorton's corner. And if Hank isn't playing well, he's not going to play.
And can everybody stop with the posting rumors that Hank's going to be traded to Colorado? Because that's all founded on a guy who writes for the Denver Post who was speculating that the Avalanche could use another goaltender for their stretch run and that Hank might be the guy. And he was only and half of the article, I read the article, and half the article was just comparing it to the Ray Bourque situation when they went out and got Ray Bourque for the stretch run and he went to Colorado and he won a cup with them. Until I hear it from somebody on TSN or Sportsnet in Canada, because that's where all Ranger news comes from nowadays, until I hear it from them that Henrik Lundqvist has gone to the Rangers and said, yes, I'll waive, or the Rangers have approached Hank to waive, I won't buy it. I'm not believing any of it. I really don't think he's going anywhere. I don't know how they're going to handle this, but I don't think he's going anywhere.
I think the Rangers are playing hardball. That's just the way I think.
Do you?
I mean, I think they're playing. I mean, 3 goalies. Do you really need 3 goalies?
No.
It's unprecedented. It's unnecessary as far as that. Well, it's necessary if you want to win some games. You got to have Sheshchuk and Georgiev in there. But
and there's that old adage: if you have 3 starting goaltenders, you really don't have any.
All right, exactly. The only other positive possible motive that I can see for this is that they're trying to get Georgiev. They're showcasing him. Because I'll tell you one thing, my friend. I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you 1,000 things because I can't edit myself.
Just one? It's going to be a short show.
It's going to be a short show. Eddie's only got one thing to say. Here we go, boys and girls. I'm gonna run it down here for you. I did a little pre-show research.
Ooh.
And somebody might have posted this. Somebody might not have posted this. Okay. Here we go. I'll probably go through the top 10, maybe top 12 of this. Trade bait. The trade from TSN. Your friends at TSN. Number 1 ranked player for trade bait at the deadline.
Chris Kreider.
That's correct. Right now, he's making $4.6 million a year. He's a UFA next year. Number 2, the great Alec Martinez, who used to play for the New York Yankees. Why he's number 2? He's a left defenseman with 1 goal and 6 assists. Number 3, Ilya Kovalchuk, who for some reason has found new life in Montreal.
He has, yeah.
Okay. Number four, Ranger killer Jean-Gabriel Pageau, who's 27. And number 5, Alexander Georgiev. With that with that 3.06 GA or goals against, but he's got a 913 save, which is pretty respectable. I mean, it's respectable. Only coming in at $793,000. And behind him, the great Tyler Toffoli, Chris Campoli. Holy moly, I got it totally wrong. I'm in the wrong order, but you know what I mean. So you've got, I didn't go through the whole list, but you got the top 2 guys that are considered in the top 5 in trade bait that by TSN. And our goaltender, he could be being showcased. So maybe that's the thinking. But why Shesterkin?
He was being showcased last night. He's the lifetime supply of canned squid that Oscar and Felix won on Let's Make a Deal. That was the showcase last night.
Yeah, he did give up 4 goals on 18 shots, but 22 shots. But
that's my problem with him is that he gets sometimes he looks like the cigarette boat on the Price is Right showcase showdown, and then sometimes he's the can of squid.
I think I could see him being do I think he's a starter? I haven't seen all that, but I think he's a viable alternative if you got goaltending problems. But if he's ranked number 5, that crop is not very good. That top 5, Alec Martinez.
Well, I mean, Martinez is a guy, he can move the puck, he can play the power play. And as I don't think I need to remind anybody, he has won a cup or two.
Mm-hmm.
So, veteran experience on the blue line. I get that. He's probably, I don't know what his contract is. My guess is it's probably pretty friendly. So, yeah, I can understand that. But, I mean, Georgiev, a team that's looking for goaltending, I don't know. Does Georgiev strike you as the type of guy that could put his team on his back for the playoffs and have one of those runs?
I've seen him steal some games, so yeah, I think he could. I think it's a possibility. But apparently there's some goaltending issues out there. There's a want for it, and they see that. Again, it's about perception. It's what is the other teams perceiving that's going on with the Rangers. Right. You mentioned this a couple of weeks ago about how these other teams are still talking about the great Henrik Lundqvist, when we know that his play has noticeably slipped. So now they see Henrik isn't playing. They're saying, wow, they brought up these 2 kids. There must be something. Now, if I were GM, I would be watching every goal that goes past these guys to say, hey, is this, but I don't know. I mean, if TSN has got him ranked number 5, I mean, and these teams go crazy at the deadline. I mean, I know sometimes it starts off slow, but this isn't a very talent-laden, free agent frenzy. Kreider's got Kreider could command a lot. Go switching to Kreider. I think they've got to trade him. I mean,
I was fully in the camp of they got to trade him, and then I kind of wavered. And then I thought, no, maybe they better keep him. But I don't know. As these losses keep piling up, I just don't think it makes sense to keep him. I think there should just be. I think this team needs to turn its eyes towards contending, being a real playoff contender next year. And I think in order to do that, I think they should probably move Kreider. One last sell off here, and then let's get it in gear in September. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, this may be Gorton's biggest and most looked at trade because Chris Kreider is so far and above the most prized catch coming up at the deadline. He better bend over the team that tries to get him. I'm talking, I want a player that could play in the lineup. I want a first-round pick. I want prospects. They should go full tilt in on this. I mean, they have to come away with a steal. I mean, Ranger fans have a problem just with Anthony Duclair, being cast off and he's got 20 goals. If they see Kreider's got 27 goals with, say, Boston or whatever like that, or he gets 35 with Boston, playing with Bergeron and Marchand and Pasternak and all those guys, Pasternak, I think if they do it, they can't walk away with like a second-round pick and who's that dope we had? I don't even know if he's with the team. Who was that throw-in on the Boston trade for Nash? Somebody give me his name. Dickie Betts. What was that guy's name?
O'Gara. Rob O'Gara.
No, the other guy, the forward. It was a salary dump. He never played for the Rangers.
Bolesky?
Yeah, Matt Bolesky.
He's still in Hartford.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think so. Sean, to answer your question, I think you're asking me if there's, do I feel strong either way? No, I don't feel strong either way, but my gut tells me that the right thing to do is to trade him. That's what my gut tells me. It'll hurt us short term, but I think long term, it's the right thing to do.
They've got to rake the team that over the coals. It's got to be like,
Well, they got 5 pieces for Rick Nash. I mean, they certainly, they need to be. Which I know not all 5 pieces were serviceable, but still. But I think they need to be, they need to be somewhere in that neighborhood.
They got to get a bigger haul.
Draft picks. I mean, they got a good draft pick out of it, and they got Ryan Lindgren and then Ryan Spooner. Ryan Spooner in that trade too, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Who they turned into Ryan Strome.
I think I can't say this strongly enough. You got a player that's right now is hot. I mean, I don't know how he's going to come by the deadline, what he's going to be like. He's hot. He's got those sexy, that speed, that he's got that reputation of going in front of the net, which he does. But, especially in Canada, they think he's like, Charles Manson up there, that he's knocking over goalies every minute.
Right.
He's got that, as Bill Chadwick would say, that reputation of he's big. I mean, that stuff is hard to resist for GM. So now Rick Nash, come on. He had it, all he had was his past resume. He wasn't really doing anything. You want a guy that could and Chris Kreider has some pedigree in the playoffs. Early in his career, Kreider was a sick playoff guy when he first got called up. And he's got that too. So there's a lot of good selling points with him. And I think it's time for the Rangers to be the team that says, to be on the other end of a total, raking over the coals kind of deal.
Well, Chris Kreider's playoff numbers are very similar to Rick Nash's.
Uh-oh.
Well, actually, I take that back. Chris Kreider's point total is similar to Rick Nash's, but Chris Kreider has scored 23 goals in 77 playoff games. Rick Nash scored 18 goals in
398.
18 playoffs. Rick Nash finished his career with 46 points in 89 games in the playoffs. Chris Kreider has 37 points in 77 games, but like I said, his goal total is higher.
And I mean, listen, the way he's playing, if I would have no problem with him, but he's now, what did I say? He was making 4 something a year. This guy's going to ask for like, $7-8 million, 6 years or whatever he's going to ask. And what do you guys think he's going to ask? Speaking of the $8 million man, Kevin Hayes, who also got a big contract, third line. He's playing on a third line now. How'd you like your third line setup? You get $8 million. Anyway, so what do you guys think he's going to get?
You mean Kevin Hayes is nothing more than a third line center? But Kevin Hayes. But he's Kevin Hayes.
I agree with Andre, who is saying that he see him going. Boston seems. I see Boston as the logical because he's a Boston kid. But I don't know what their cap situation. People saying $8 million, 5.75. I'm not getting him for that. I'm trying to say. Yeah, Kreider's making 4.6 this year.
Kevin Hayes. What are those numbers?
I see.
Oh, Kevin Shattenkirk still stuck on 27 points, which is where I think he was a week into the season. Kevin Hayes has 27 points. Kevin Shattenkirk has 27 points.
The magic number.
What about Matt Zuccarello? Does he have 27 points?
I don't know. We
26. He has 26 points.
Wow.
Chip, I got to play that number.
I know Jimmy Beasley.
What about Eric Stahl?
He was doing well, then he cooled off. Eric Stahl.
He has 36 points.
I call him the enigma. I don't know why the guy stunk with the Rangers. He was a complete nightmare with the Rangers. He was I
think he was misused by the coach.
Wasn't he a -7 in the playoffs? I remember ranting about that.
He used to call him Eric -12 Stahl or something like that.
Yeah, he was on the goal. He was on the ice. And it's a guy, he goes to Minnesota and he thrives. Who thrives in Minnesota? I didn't get it. I thought it was a great pickup.
He's played very well for Minnesota I mean, he's no spring chicken either. He's 35. He's still very, very productive.
Unlike his brother, Eric. Not Eric, Mark.
Mark?
Yeah. Oh, listen. So we got Kreider. If I had my druthers, I'd keep him. But if I can get a haul, I'm doing it. I don't think the Rangers, like you said, where are the Rangers going with them? What, are you going to keep him and think? What's the alternative? Somebody tell me the alternative. Keep him and try to sign him? With what?
Again, if with Hank's money, Stahl's money, and Brendan Smith's money still on the books for another year, I just don't see how you can keep everybody.
You got to get Tony D signed somehow, some way. They got to get that guy signed.
And I want them to re-sign Brendan Lemieux. I wouldn't mind them re-signing Strome for if they can get him for something reasonable, 3 years, something like that.
I think we could find. Listen, I'm not agreeing with the the twatter. I mean, I could live without a Ryan Strome. You know what I'm saying?
So could I.
He's not. Who's talking about a playoff push? Jeff, are you talking about a push? He did this last year.
He ain't going to make the playoffs with a shove, much less a push. This is more like a playoff nudge.
Yeah, I mean, they're going over the cliff with a bungee cord here soon. Boing, boing, up and down, up and down. After they trade these guys, get ready. You might see Rob O'Gara back on his team. I mean, they'll still score goals, but it's not going to be pretty. I mean, they're struggling as it is. They can't get a winning streak, a bona fide 6-7 game winning streak going.
I'd settle for 4.
Yeah.
I'd settle for a 4-game winning streak. We can't get that. But again, I'm okay with that. But I think next year this team's got to be ready next year. They got to be better next year. I think next year we really need to start moving forward. I'm not saying they got to win a cup next year. I'm not even saying they got to make the conference finals next year, but I want them in the playoffs and competitive next year.
Yeah, and next year will be a pivotal. Wow, it's the All-Star break. We're already talking about next year, but I mean, is it conceivable?
I think the prudent Ranger fan, and there's damn few of us, knew that it wasn't about this year. And I think most of us knew that all this playoff push garbage is just that. It's noise. It's just noise. They're not making the playoffs. I don't want them in the playoffs. I really don't. I don't want to see them get embarrassed. The defense isn't there, and the goaltending's not there.
And they're not a playoff. Yet. The way the team is designed, they're not a playoff. They're not suited. Their team is not suited for the playoffs.
Unless they're going to play a team that's going to take 10 penalties a game and they can win the game on special teams. Because that's about the only place they're winning is special teams.
Yeah. And if you want to play up and down hockey all day, they're pretty good at that. But anytime they play any team with any kind of semblance of a defensive scheme and is well coached and can roll 4 lines, they get decimated. The Rangers, they get totally annihilated. I mean,
where are you going? Where are you going in the playoffs with Michael Haley, Brendan Smith, and Greg McKegg as your 4th line? Where are you going?
And Lundqvist. Where are you going?
There you go. You threw Sean McCaff a bone, huh?
No, because I mean the guy's not playing well. He's not good. He's 38. He's not good. He's 5 years older than Mark Stahl, and I think Mark Stahl is an octogenarian.
Last week was Mark Stahl's birthday, and they said happy 33rd birthday to Mark Stahl. I looked at Jen. I said, "How the hell is Mark Stahl only 33? I feel like he's 53. I feel like he's been here since I was in high school. This guy's approaching Sergei Gonchar status."
Yeah, he's on. Just think about like in the scheme of things, like life scheme. He's 33. He's like a kid. Well, to me, he's a kid. And I think of him as this fossilized dinosaur that's just. Just all over the ice, just slogging along, and oh god, like, he's only 33 years old, but he's been with us so long, too long, and hopefully one more year, and so that's what I'm thinking. We got to retain Tony D. Out of all those guys, listen, I love Brendan Lemieux, I love him, but Tony D is an emerging star. They let him go after they he really just, I want to know if it's Quinn. I think it's a combination of Quinn and him maturing a bit, or just him letting, being able to play the way he wants to play. Whatever the reason is, he's emerged here. And it would be sad to see him go on to bigger and better things with another club after, we saw it start here. So, good.
I think with Adam Fox and Tony DeAngelo and Jacob Trouba, you got a nice core there to build.
And
with.
I like Lindgren as a 6, a 5 or a 6.
And Lindgren, I
could deal with him. Yeah, I could deal with him. I think he's got a little bit of an edge to him. His shot's not bad. He's a pretty good skater. I could deal with him. Now, you got Keandre Miller. You got a couple other guys with is it Rykov? No, Lundqvist. Niels Lundqvist. Is he a defenseman? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Rykov.
Rykov and Hayek. I mean, I still don't really know what they got in Hayek, but I mean, but just between Fox, DeAngelo, and Trouba, I mean, I think it's pretty good on the right-hand side. It's pretty solid. I mean, Adam Fox is just getting better every night. My only problem with Adam Fox is I think they need to keep Adam Fox. I think Adam Fox needs to be on the ice with their most skilled forwards. Like last night, Adam Fox is skating rings around everybody, and there's nobody to pass the puck to except Greg McKegg and Brendan Smith. And they got to make sure, the old unit of 5 days with, Messier and Kovalev and Graves, or Messier and Larmer and Graves. Then you had Leach and Bukaboom. Let's get a unit of 5 going again.
I agree with you.
I just think he's so skilled that he needs to be out there with their most skilled forwards. But,
isn't it a good problem to have when you got like Trouba and Fox as your second line, power play guys, and you've got Panarin and DeAngelo playing the points, and you've got a little bit of depth on that D as far as offensive productivity goes. Yeah, I know what you're saying. It would be good to see them Rangers rolling a line that could actually put puck in that. How about that kid line, though? You think they're getting over promoted? And I mean, Howden's been a little bit better, don't you think?
He's another whipping boy. I like Brett Howden. I don't have a problem with Brett Howden. I'm not sure. I still don't. I guess he's he's better on the wing than he is at center. Personally, I think. I think Zibanejad and I think Hedl should be the number 2 center, and then Strome should be. I mean, Strome's been better on the wing when he's with Panarin. They've got a lot of, they're constantly moving all the parts around. There's a lot of line changing going on, but that's been going on since Tortorella, so that's nothing new.
Yeah, I read an article about Kako and Lohud. They were talking about the kid line.
Yes, I did not read that article yet.
Yeah, and he was saying, he's looking forward to things have been much tougher here. He was really down at first. He really thought he could do basically what he did in the Swedish Elite League here, but it hasn't materialized. He was down early. He's looking forward to going back to Sweden for 10 days. He was happy to hear that, which is good, Finland? I think, because Finland, I'm sorry. Wait, Finland, sorry. What did I say? I guess
well, because everybody else is Swedish.
No, I think it was he was playing in the Swedish League, right? So I think that's why I said that. I don't know. Anyway, he was going to go back to Finland. It's gonna, Christmas with the Kakos, whatever they celebrate over there.
Right.
Floppo Kako. I think he's looked better. Listen,
I thought he played one of his best games last night.
Yeah, he played really well. It was good to see.
I have a theory about him that, and you can disagree with me, but this is just an observation. I still don't think he's adjusted to the ice surface in the NHL yet. It seems like when he comes down the wing with the puck, he's always a second or two late in making the pass, and I just don't think I think that his inner clock, I think, is off from where he needs to be. He just always seems to wait a second or two too long. He's too low in the zone to make that pass that he wants to make, and by then there's nothing he can do. He's trapped. The defenseman and the goaltender have moved over, and he's got nothing to do with the puck. And I don't know if that's his internal clock or if he's just not adjusted to the size of the ice surface yet. I think that's what's going on. It just seems to happen a lot with him. And the other thing I've noticed this with Hedl too, is that, this is still in the process of learning how to play in the NHL. They're still trying to do too much, still relying too much on their skill, trying to do things that they're not going to be able to do in the NHL that they're used to doing in leagues, full of boys or lesser skilled players. But I thought Kako played very well, played pretty well last night. I thought it was one of his better all-around games last night.
I thought so too. And he had a great chance at the end of the game, and Grice stopped him. It's somebody opinion that I value said to me, do you notice, I want to see if I can get any corroboration from you and the rest of the underground, that Kako seems to get knocked off the puck a lot, which we were kind of sold that he's a man, he's in a man's body, and he's strong on the puck, he's a big guy. Have you noticed that, him getting knocked off the puck?
I really haven't. I thought just the opposite. I thought he seems to be pretty strong on the puck. When he's got the puck, seems to me that it's kind of hard to get him off of the puck. He's 6'2". He's a big kid. I think he uses his size pretty well. I don't know. I'll have to maybe zone in, put the ISO on him a little more when they get back from break.
Well, let's see if along the boards he's, I didn't notice. I did down the balls.
Out the balls.
Out the balls, down the balls. That he is. I'm gonna watch to see if he's susceptible to that. Because the person who said to me wasn't a schmuck. It was like somebody I actually respect their opinion. But
okay.
So yeah, well, I'll keep our eye on that.
All right.
What do we got? Costa next. What do we got up going here?
Costa is waiting. The link, I'm gonna post the link again. I put it up a little while ago. If you guys want to join, let me give you guys a little bit of information what's going on next week while the Rangers are on break. Be Live, which is the program that we use to broadcast the shows, as you guys know, has introduced a brand new revamped studio. They actually did it a couple of months ago, but we were unable to use it because it didn't have all of the features that we needed in order to do the show. Now they've it's a finished product from what I can see. So at some point next week, maybe Monday night, we're going to do a little test show with the new studio. And one of the other features we're going to try is Be Live now allows you to broadcast to YouTube instead of Facebook. So I think one night next week, we're also going to try and do a show on YouTube Live as opposed to Facebook. Now, my understanding is that we can still embed the show in our group on Facebook, but I think most people, if you're watching the show, if you can watch it on Facebook, you could watch it on YouTube. Might even be easier for you to watch on YouTube. I don't know. What that means for future shows, we don't know yet. We want to see how it goes on YouTube, but I think we could find more of an audience on YouTube than we have on Facebook. And let's face it, this group and this show is just too good to just be contained.
Yeah, we want to share all of you with the rest of the world.
Right.
Like Michael Carmen.
Right.
Michael Carmen is agreeing that Capo Caco is too soft. Well, he's agreeing with my friend. I don't know.
So he's Floppo Soft Taco.
He's a soft Caco?
Soft Caco. He's a chicken soft Caco. All right.
The only catch is that to comment on the YouTube feed, you need an account. Well, I got to tell you, it's a complicated process to get a YouTube account. Just enter your email and a password.
If you have a Google, if you have a Gmail, doesn't that automatically sign you into YouTube or any Google, a Gmail account or a Google account? Doesn't that automatically?
Pretty sure.
So
Michael Carmen says he watches the show on which we've reached 200 subscribers to our channel, Jim. Great 200, baby.
And God bless every goddamn one of you.
And I was telling Jim, I think it was 3 shows back, we got more views than the Rangers bantering. What do they call that shit show with Giannone and their podcast there? Bloody Blue Shirts or something? I don't know. What do they call it?
The one that they do in the dark, was it? Remember the one like dude, they were standing next to the board. It was like all dark and it's amazing.
The janitor was walking in front of them.
Between MSG and the Ranger website, I think they've tried at least 4 or 5 different incarnations of some kind of podcast. And they've all been
the same
bad.
Old stuff.
And
you think they're going to be able to talk contracts like they talk on this show? They never mention contracts.
They'll mention other guys' contracts.
Oh yeah,
they'll tell you about Matthew Barzal's contract. Well, maybe not Matthew Barzal because he's MSG too, but they'll tell you about Tyler Sagan's contract or Connor McDavid's contract or Tavares's contract, but they won't talk about Chris Kreider's contract.
Yeah,
Chris Kreider's contract. Try saying that 3 times fast.
They should be set. I mean, if you were a reporter, not a reporter, but if you were whatever, I don't even want to go into it, but it's just like that should be a major storyline with Chris Kreider. He's going to be traded. And most likely will be traded. But you would think that Chris Kreider is going to be a Ranger for the next 20 years, the way they talk. He's still what a Ranger. Look at him. He's got his 300th NHL point or whatever he's got. He's going to be on, he's going to be the Bruin next week.
Mike Carmen says, I'm advertising to my friends, so you should get more views. Thank you, Mike. We hope everybody shares it. And, just to finish my thought from a minute ago, when I wasn't kid, you go on Twitter now and you look around and every blog has its own podcast. The New York Post now has a podcast, a Ranger podcast. And they just, and what's funny is that New York, the Post podcast, every time I see like an ad for it, it's just, they just get somebody on from 1994. And I think Duguay is on it sometimes.
I thought he was doing his own with Larry Brooks.
Well, that's the Post one.
Oh, that's the Post one. Okay,
that's the New York Post one. I mean, the Post has got one now for I think they've got one for all the teams, but Every blog now has its own podcast. There's 100. I mean, not hundreds, but there's got to be at least 10 or 15 of them now. That's fine. That's fine. I'm sure everybody has their taste. If you like the blog, you'll probably like their podcast. And like I said, we've always done something just a little bit different than everybody else. This isn't for everybody, and that's fine. We don't want everybody. We only want the people that get us. And the people that are here, they get us. You have to get us. You have to get this group. You have to get this. You have to get the humor.
You've got first of all, you have to have a sense of humor.
Right. You've got to have you can't get easily offended.
Right. And you got to have a sick sense of humor, because this team, this team is not going to reward you with a lot of wins and a lot of Stanley Cups. So you have to be able to laugh at the misery and exchange, and the camaraderie that comes with being a Ranger fan and going through all this crap. You've got to be able to laugh. Listen, maybe my humor is not what everybody else's humor is. Fine. I know most of my life people have laughed at what I said. So I know I got something going for me, at least in my demographic. Right. And it's and Jim too. This is an entertainment show. We're not going to sit here and talk about heat maps and talk about the same things over and over again. I mean, the content sometimes gets like that, but this is what we want to talk about. And the next thing I want to talk about, Jim, unless you done with what you wanted to say before we start.
Did I finish that thought? You're
talking about the YouTube live, and what about the comments? Jeff said something about the comments. Oh, yes.
My understanding, but this is one of the reasons why we're going to test this out next week, is we want to see how the comments go. We don't want to take that away from we don't want to take that away from the show, because that's the comments, the chat room, whether it was Blog Talk Radio or here, that has always been a huge part of this show. We have always promoted the fact that we are fully interactive. The show has never, ever, in its almost 11 years, we have never posted a pre-recorded episode. Everything we've ever done, for better or worse, has been live, and there's always been live reactions with you guys, live phone calls. I see a lot of these podcasts that are out there, they'll just post up their hour chit-chat with no interaction with it. They're just I would find that incredibly boring. If it was just Eddie and I just sitting here talking for an hour with no interaction with you guys whatsoever, I would get bored. I think we would have stopped doing this a long time ago, because it just wouldn't be as much fun. We've always prided ourselves. Eddie and I went to the Honeymooners School of Comedy, where everything's live, everything's unrehearsed and off the cuff and ad-libbed.
We have never made at the top of the hour, we're going to talk about this, and then 30 minutes in, we're going to talk about this. There's absolutely no structure to the show.
Very little. That's the way we like it. You never, on any given night, I never know where we're going once the show starts. We could wind up talking 20 minutes about Bernie Nichols. I don't know. It was just first thing that came to mind. We could wind up doing a 10-minute riff on Terry Kleisinger or whatever. Or White Castle. Okay. It could be it could go anywhere. But go ahead.
I have two things I want to bring up to you. This is two non-Ranger related things, but NHL related. I want everybody's opinion on our boy Gritty on the Flyers now getting in trouble for manhandling a kid. Is this what I hear, or what's going on here, Jim?
Is this I saw the story. I didn't read the story. There seemed to be some dispute, but I guess a father took his son to a meet and greet event in November. And why this isn't coming out until we're almost to February. Father took his son to a meet and greet event in November where he claims Gritty punched his son in the back. Philadelphia police investigating claim that. Hold on. Now I just pulled this. There we go. Philadelphia police investigating claim that Flyers mascot Gritty physically assaulted teen boy during photo shoot. They tried to bribe me not to speak about it, according to the father. And the father also announced that he has discontinued his season tickets after 23 years. Now, is
The
this an
Flyers.
opportunity? Should we reach out to this man and welcome him to the Ranger family? I mean,
I think we
maybe
should.
we could put together, maybe we could rally, everybody could donate like a Ranger item to give to this 13-year-old, and we could welcome him. I mean, I live in Pennsylvania. We could, they could meet, we could go and watch a game together somewhere here and welcome him and show him the insanity that's here.
Yeah,
Why
we
does
don't have a mascot.
What a Philadelphia mascot is capable of?
He's
Those
a punk.
people are animals. They are subhumans in Philadelphia.
They are. They're all punks. We don't have a
Sean
mascot.
Hyde tweeted that the Rangers need a mascot the other day. I wonder how he feels about that now.
We don't need no mascots, no stinking mascots. That's all I have to say. We have Costa.
We have Costa.
But I just find it odd that even like you said, even the mascot is a punk. So Philadelphia can't do anything right. So we'll see how. And then my second thing is, why was this uproar about what Wes McCauley did with the Kachuk brothers?
Oh, I was wondering if that was one of the things you were. Now, see,
I thought it's
saw
cool.
this video, and I thought it was fantastic. And it wasn't until Joe Micheletti mentioned it last night during the broadcast. It wasn't until he mentioned that some people didn't like it that I even knew that anybody. How could you be against something like that?
It's fun. They suck the fun out of every sport except for hockey occasionally.
It's a game.
It's fun. Exactly.
But I honestly did not see one dissenting opinion of this. So I don't know where the backlash is coming from. Were there articles out there that this was the wrong thing to do?
Apparently well, I don't understand how Joe hurt something. Who was complaining? I don't know. I didn't get that. I thought it was something good. Now, whether Wes McCauley's a good referee or whatever, but it's good to see that they haven't sucked the fun, and they sucked the fun out of all the rest of the sports. And hockey still remains the more homespun type of game, even more than baseball. Hockey is still like it still has that Canadian farm boy element, if you know what I mean. Like, we're still going to have fighting, even though it's totally watered down, and they got 4,000 penalties for everything now. But they'll still fight. There's still the retribution. There's still it's still, although it's a very emasculated man sport compared to what it used to be, it's still it's a sport of men. That's what it is. It's warriors, and having fun, jokes, this and that. You watch the All-Star game. There's, they got all kinds of trickery in there. They got the faces of the shoot on the targets, or faces of players. It's a fun-loving sport. So I thought it was great. Did you find an article where there was a dissenting opinion on this?
No, I'm looking now. I don't see anything.
What is Micheletti having one of his spells? Is he having one of his spells?
You know what? I don't doubt for a second that there was dissenting opinions somewhere on it. I don't doubt that for a second, because there's dissenting opinion on everything.
Anything.
Anytime there's something fun going on, somebody has a problem with it. And the other thing about hockey is it's also the most, out of all the four major sports, it's the most family-centric sport. You've got long lines of brothers and fathers and sons that play this game. So you're going to see things like this. Like, did you see the thing with Patrick Kane? He scored his 1,000th point, and his father showed up at the practice the next day. They let his father in the arena, and the father put up big cards on the seats in the arena while he was practicing that said 1,000 on them. Did you see that?
Oh, no, I didn't see that. That's nice.
You just don't see that in other sports. Not really. I mean, it's
it's a family sport because, the whole family's involved in getting these kids to the NHL now. Did you see? But the one thing I didn't like that Wes McCauley did is that when Patrick Kane faced off against Evander Kane, because they're brothers, that was a little, he was walking the edge there. They're not really brothers, Wes, and it's pretty obvious. That was kind of a cruel joke.
I don't think so.
You don't think they'd be funny? The Kane brothers. Wait a minute. We just lost 3 listeners.
Right.
3 viewers like, oh my God. So heba. So we haven't we haven't seen no dissenting opinions. All right. So I don't know what he was smoking, Micheletti, that fool. And you know what?
Here you go. Adam Herman from Blueshirt Banter. Face-offs are extremely important, and that's why a referee threw 2 players out so the Kachucks could remind everyone that they're brothers.
But that's nobody of Adam. Who's Adam Herman?
Oh, he's the same guy that called Tony D'Angelo a Guido and then said, "I didn't know that people would get offended by that."
He's a putz. It's Adam Herman. I never like guys with 2 first names. No, I don't. I just made that up.
Like John Scott.
John Scott. You remember that guy? Remember he made the All-Star team? Then the John Scott rule.
Yeah. Or former Ranger goaltender Ron Scott.
Yeah. Yes. Ron Scott too. So I guess Patrick Kane could actually be. And his brother Evander.
Right.
Sean, I definitely Sean, I dare you to put on the next, you know how you do that, those wonderful graphics that you do. Have the Kane brothers facing off, but Evander and Patrick. You want to troll some people? People will flip out. How dare you! Black against white.
Herman Kane and Patrick Kane.
Anywho. Yeah, those were 2 bits of, and just one last thing. Micheletti again must have been having one of his spells when he started talking about how great Brady Shea is playing. He sucked. Oh, it's been great since him and Truman have been put back together. Oh, the communication, score. You know, I mean, it's just
that pairing is awful. Doesn't work.
It doesn't work, and he's terrible. Again, he was down on that one knee again. It drives me nuts. He is awful. I don't care how many goals yet in the defensive zone. I mean, he's a whipping boy that deserves it. There's always somebody on defense that gets Stahl's a whipping boy. And then they got co-whipping boys this year.
Right.
But there's always somebody on defense. We can never have 6 defensemen that get total amnesty. There's always one defenseman that's going to be. But Brady Shea really deserves it. He has not been good. And why do they keep telling us he's good? I don't understand. Just say, well, maybe the last game they'll say, oh, he had a tough season. He struggled there for a bit. So I don't know.
He did say something last night that made me laugh. I said it was the funniest thing he's ever said, and now I can't remember what it was.
Uh-oh. He never makes you laugh. I barely pay attention to what he's saying.
I don't know if Jen's in the chat, but I don't know if she's paying attention. Maybe she remembers what it was. Jen, what did Micheletti say last night that made me laugh? I don't remember what it was. It was pretty funny, though.
Scott is saying that he likes Brady Shea. Would you?
Okay.
All right. So, Scott, would you say that his play has declined since his rookie year, or do you think he's been playing on the same level or better? I mean, I just want to know.
Shattenkirk's wife likes Shea.
Yeah. I mean, are you Shattenkirk's wife? Wait a minute. I don't know. I mean, listen, there's been times when I've said, get off this guy. Like Buchnevich, I see Sean's all over him. And again,
I remembered. You said Buchnevich. I remembered. After he scored the goal, Joe says they showed him on the bench, and Joe said, you can't exactly tell. He just scored a goal.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
That's
what
funny.
it was. Thank you for reminding me. That's what it was. It was about Buchnevich. It was the only. I think it's the first time Joe's ever made me laugh. Funny man, Joe Micheletti.
I mean, I guess everybody, we have fans. You could be like, there's a lot of people are fans of Shea, including Jennifer Johnner.
Yeah,
Jen Johnner.
Yep.
Who even has a Brady Shea chant that goes like this. Shea. That's kind of like his play. Up and then down. Captain Happy. That's right. So resting booch face. So
I like that.
That's good, Michael Carmen. Yeah.
That's like resting Hank face.
Yes. So I think I guess, and a lot of it has to do with the contract, which you really shouldn't base a guy, but it was a bad contract, and I think the Rangers jumped the gun. And I think he had a great first season, but I've seen a regression. Maybe he's a better fit with, I don't know. He just doesn't play well. What? He's a better fit in Hartford.
Better fit with Hartford.
Yeah, throw him down there. Him and Hayek get some seasons.
I think we're stuck with him. So, what do you got?
Right. Okay. All right. I get what Scott's saying. His thought is that he's playing against other teams' best players. He's going to make mistakes. No other options.
Yeah, well.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right.
What's up with the Shea?
What is wrong with Brady Shea?
I mean, you got the Brady, then you got the Shea. When do they come together? When they come together, it's a perfect marriage.
And what is with that spelling? It's SKJ. It's not SKJ Stadium. It's Shea Stadium.
It's SKJ Stadium.
Right.
All right.
All right. You ready for Costa?
Yeah. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one and only Costa. Good evening, Costa. Thank you for waiting.
You're a capologist as well.
Capologist is at work.
I believe
capologist or money obsessed. You decide.
I understand that YouTube you can actually donate to the show while the show is live.
Oh, like Jerry Lewis.
Something like that.
We could have a timpani. What they call that? The Rosengarten or something?
Or the timpani, whatever.
Yeah, timpani.
So we could have like 7-Up come on the show and give us the big cardboard check. 7-Eleven could put the big jug out on the counter and people donate money to the show, and then during the show we get like $9.87.
The Southland Corporation will come out,
and then Eddie could loosen his bow tie and start to cry, and then sing "To Dream." You'll never walk alone. That would be great. Blueshirt Underground telethon.
No, but I've watched a lot of these live chats like what we're doing here. But on YouTube, there's like a way you can like donate $5 or $1, $2, or even $10. I've seen.
That would be great.
We're not going to do a telethon.
It's not a telethon.
How much are you donating? Is it $1? Is it $2?
Stop at $3.
All right, $3.
Me and my big mouth.
All right, Costa. So fill us in. What was that clip? I missed it.
But what do you think? Georgiev and Shea for KK24 the Lesser.
All right, let's put on our and get our code, secret code decoder, Costa decoder rings. What does that mean?
He wants to get somebody from the KKK. Is that what he said?
No, Kapanen.
Kapanen.
Yeah.
KK24 the lesser.
Yeah, because his number is 24 and he's KK. You get it?
I get it. I just sometimes you're like a riddle. I have to. I gotta unwrap the riddles.
Yeah.
So hey, fuck you. All right. So let's see.
Jay, we got the children here. Don't corrupt the children now.
What? It's in his headphones. She can't hear nothing.
Oh.
All right. Yeah. So here we.
You'll be surprised what they can hear.
All right.
They
Dr. Spock over there. All right. Tell me about child raising.
You kiss your sister with that mouth?
What I think about it has absolutely no chance of happening. Jim?
No chance of happening.
All right. Yeah.
Brady Shea stinks. Sorry. Brady Shea, let's put it this way. Not with that money and not with that playing. I mean, listen, stranger things have been known to happen, but I don't see it happening. I mean, the Devils did get Taylor Hall for Adam Larson, so anything is possible in this world.
We got Strome for fucking Spooner, so there's that too.
That's right. Yep, that's true. That's my win for the Rangers.
We got Ryan McDonough for Scott Gomez.
Yeah. That's right. Thanks, Bob Gainey. Wherever you are. So no, I don't think anything on that trade. Does anyone think that's gonna? Yeah, everybody's saying Toronto is not taking Shea.
Yeah, because they're thin on the blue line. Morgan Riley's out for 8 weeks. Another guy's out for 8 weeks.
That's true.
If they want, I mean, now it's like, okay, now they're starting now. They're like the walking wounded. Now are they gonna?
Right.
Are they really gonna
maybe they
make a serious push for the playoffs or what? I could see what's his name going to Carolina. Friggin' Georgiev.
They're not believing in the Peter Mrazek show over there?
Maybe.
Cam Ward still on that team?
No, he's gone. He's probably retired, I bet.
Hey, speaking of Carolina, you hear about this Bill Peters, who we've been maligning for years? Now he's been overrated. Now he's in some hot water with a player who claims that he was bullying him or something. You see this?
Oh, yeah. That was a couple weeks ago. That
okay.
Supposedly it happened years ago in the minor leagues, though, and that's why he got fired in
what a great coach.
Edmonton. Was it Edmonton? I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was Edmonton. Sam and Joe haven't been lauding him lately.
Let me ask you this. I'm seeing a lot of this, and I see Andre just mentioned Toronto is interested in Georgiev. Why is this? I thought they were happy with, what's his face? Frederick
Anderson.
What's his Anderson? Mr. Anderson. I don't understand why that.
Maybe he's not up to snuff. Maybe.
I don't think they're completely sold on him.
And the backup is hot garbage. He's a freaking dumpster fire. The backup Hutchison. we had this guy, I think, in Hartford at one point. I think.
Sean McCaff just posted a picture of Andy Kane and Patrick Kane, stepbrothers, and the stepbrothers poster. Very funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Where did he post that?
Let me see. It came to me. I'm tagged in it. It's in the underground, I believe. They have different fathers, Joe. That's Sam saying that. Very good, man.
That's great.
See if you can get that up. So
he put it in the big group. That's great.
So Costa, you what do you think's going to happen? What I want the Rangers to bend somebody over for Kreider. I want the Rangers to give it to them. Take Max.
Take
everything. I want prospects. I want players. I want this. So
I know I'm sure a 1 is coming back to us easily. A 1. If he's going to playoff teams, we're getting a 1. Let me ask you this. I don't think he's going to waive his modified trade. Wouldn't you want to play on Edmonton with fucking Connor McDavid if he's your centerman?
Of course. That's probably one of the best players in the league. He makes everybody better. I mean, him, Nathan McKinnon, the ever-present Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, but here's the thing. A lot of these teams, they're in cap hell. That's why they're going to wait till the deadline, because a lot of these teams are already in cap hell.
Well,
I know Boston kind of is, and I think St. Louis, I think what's his name is on long-term IR. Fucking what's his face? Who's the Russian on fucking St. Louis?
Oh, Tarasenko.
Yeah. He's
the guy we passed on in the draft.
What?
To get McElrath.
The
guy we.
Anyways, I think it's going to be down to Colorado, Boston, or St. Louis. I'm hoping Edmonton because we'll fleece them again.
And we won't have to see him. He can do whatever he wants in Edmonton, and we don't have to see him in the. It's good. All right. Well, any other thoughts?
We can keep Strome. We can keep fucking D'Angelo if it's like the AAF is like 5 or 5.5 mil a season. We can keep those two guys, no problem, no fucking problem. The thing is Lemieux. Lemieux's not going to get paid that much because he got hurt. So, them's the breaks, I guess.
I think Quinn has played Lemieux in a much larger role than I thought he would. I mean, he has him out there. I mean, he was on the Panarin line, replacing Panarin, playing on that first line with Panarin out. He
has Lemieux doing everything. Killing penalties, power play.
See, I think maybe that's what irks a lot of people because, Brendan Lemieux obviously is working every shift and hitting everything. And as opposed to a European player where they don't really do all that stuff, they see he's getting a little bit of favoritism, as my friend says over here. They're playing favorites. Maybe he likes that.
You know what Kako needs to do?
Uh-oh.
Shoot the goddamn puck. Stop trying. Enough with this. Enough with the trying to get the highlight reel goals. Enough with that shit. Just fucking hit the fucking goalie with the kitchen sink. Doesn't that drive you nuts? I mean, you know how many times this team has overpassed? That's disgusting. Yes. It's disgusting.
And the coaching staff has talked to them about it, and it doesn't really seem to have kind of gotten through to them. I saw finding people.
And I've mentioned this before. Why is this team keep deferring to fucking Panarin? Now that he's not playing, he wasn't there for 2 games. What happened? What happened, Rangers? What happened?
He's an essential part of the team. He's what, I agree with you. That's why you can't just take one play away from a team and then they're a losing machine. That's not a playoff team. It's got to be a group effort. So, I don't think they've made that. They haven't shown that they can win without the guy. We've already seen his stats up there, 1-9-1, posted by the great Michael Silvers. That's bad. Bad. So yes.
Bad.
And like Jim referred, if the Rangers don't have a lot of power plays, they don't score a lot of goals. They do extremely well on the power play.
Can you remember before last night the last time they got a 4-minute power play and scored on both ends of it?
No, I said that to my wife. Said I can't remember that they got both ends on a 4-minute. Usually they can't even score in a 5-minute power play.
Speaking of that 4-minute power play,
3.
Speaking of that 4-minute power play, when was the last time you heard spearing called?
20 years.
I mean, it's been a long time since I've heard spearing called in a game.
And
we got a lot of defensemen in the pipeline. I don't know how they're going to fit all these guys. I have no idea. Friggin' Hutchison, you got friggin' Miller, you got Lundqvist, You've got Hijack. You got friggin' Joey Keane. You got this one. You got that one.
Defenseman.
There's a lot of defensemen.
Defenseman. He stinks in that last one. Defenseman.
So I put that. I'm putting that out there.
All right. Well, you put it out
right.
there. We receive it.
Okay.
All right, Bobby. Anything else?
Guts.
All right. Enjoy the break.
We'll see you hopefully next week on
See you next week.
YouTube's.
On the YouTube.
YouTubes.
We'll be on RedTube, too.
Red tube. Lolo tube.
Andres posted something about the Bruins being in the
Oh my goodness.
the hunt. And have made New York Rangers their number one target. Kreider was a pending UFA. Wow. Ooh. $1 million. So we'll see what he gets. All right. That's all we got. What else do we have? Anything else to talk about that's pressing?
Mike Halleck is floating along here, but I don't know if we'll find out real quick if he had something to say or what's up, Mike? I don't know if he was just listening or
Hey guys.
did you have
What's up,
something
Mike?
to say or were you just listening?
Nah, not really.
It's incredibly
I
unsafe.
I joined in late. I just got home from work.
Oh, okay.
Well, we covered everything you wanted to talk about.
Where are you going for ice cream again?
What's that?
You go for ice cream again?
No, sir.
Shivers?
Just got home from work.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
All right.
Shiver me timbers.
Anything to
No,
anything to comment on?
I did read something that the Rangers are going to try to get as much as they can for Georgiev. I can never say his name right. I'm sorry.
You said a lot better than Pete Stepkowski does.
Yeah, I can't stand him on the radio when I go home. When
he's
I finally get
terrible.
calling
love
Jasper
Stemmer.
fast, got Jasper. I'm like,
I love Stemmer.
He's terrible again.
It's great.
He was calling Georgiev Georgi. He wasn't even getting the Ev in there. Whereas Georgi starting in the nets for the Rangers.
I mean, what about the guy next to him? If it's either LaGreca or whatever his name.
What if the Rangers go out and find the least qualified guys for their announcing teams? I don't understand. But Kenny Albert's okay. But
Kenny Albert, I'm sorry, I couldn't remember his name, guys.
And I don't mind. And I don't mind LaGreca. I think LaGreca's a good egg, even though he's. I do.
I like listening to him on Michael K. He knows his hockey. But I do remember, if I remember correctly, he's a Devil fan down deep.
Yes, he is.
I think I do know that. Yeah. So,
right.
like I said, I joined in late. Any reason why Mika's not going to the All-Star game instead of Kreider? Did anybody say anything about that?
Yeah, no one actually. We haven't talked about that. Do you think Mika was more deserving, Jim, than Christopher?
Either I'm fine either way. I just assume none of them go to the All-Star game. Play in this sham of a game, this 3-on-3 ridiculousness.
You know,
I don't even bother watching. I
I like the skills. I will not watch the game. The game is just disgustingly bad. But why were the Rangers sending Chris Kreider, who's he's the number one trade bait in the league right now, and they're sending him to the All-Star game to get hurt?
Right. Let's go send him.
That's why they're sending him.
Ankle at a meaningless game.
Showcase him.
So I guess I don't know what the. He'll probably hurt break his fibula in the speed skating competition. And he takes a spill, and no, Kreider's down.
Where is the All-Star game? I forget.
Japan.
St. Louis. In St. Louis, if I'm right.
That's right. That's why the jerseys are so. That's right. That's why the jerseys look the way they do, because it's like a musical note. That's right. St. Louis. Right. Next year it's in Florida.
I can't tell you the last time I watched an All-Star game.
I watched
I watched the skills competition last year, but that's about it.
The Challenge Cup in '79 when the All-Stars played the Russians.
There you go.
That was the last time I watched. Madison Square Garden, baby.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't watch those games. So, all right, we got to move along here. We got to end this show. I got to eat.
I do have one thing I wanted to add. You were talking about or Costa was talking about the YouTube thing.
Mm-hmm.
I did see sometimes it's with wrestling shows, like somebody streams the Monday Night Raws and SmackDown Lives, and they can donate money to it. That is true. And if you want to do that, maybe you could wheel out Cutter for your telethon to donate.
You could say we're raising
wheel him out.
Carpets clean. Raising money to get his carpets cleaned.
Yeah, or his hair combed.
Yeah,
right.
Raise money to get him to get him out of Canada.
So listen, I love
You're gonna
Cutter
know
and what he
Kreider.
represents. I love Cutter. I love his ambition.
We love you, Cutter.
We love you, Cutter, brother. We kid
love you,
because
Cutter.
we love you.
Even though you blocked me, he blocked me. That's okay, though.
Alice, don't take it personally.
Don't-
Your life is better without
Not
Jeff
at all.
Diamond. Trust me.
All right, Mike. We'll talk to you next week.
Take care, brother.
See you guys.
Take it easy.
Be good.
Bye. All right. You said it all.
We covered it all, man. I think we covered it all.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for this week's edition of the Blueshirt Underground Show with Jim and Eddie. Thank you to everybody for being here. Lots of comments in the chat room tonight. You guys were great, as always. We love you. Enjoy your break. We'll see you guys next week. A couple of different shows. We'll be trying out some new stuff. We'll let you know in the Facebook group what's going on. Eddie, always a pleasure. Thank you for being here with me.
Same, right back at you. Had a tremendous time with you again. Always fun.
All right. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. And congratulations to Eli Manning, who announced his retirement today.
We'll say this about Eli. Not one of your greatest quarterbacks in the world, but one of the most clutch quarterbacks ever to play the game.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Let's go, Rangers. Get out, everybody.
Bye-bye.